Alright, so today we have a game between Poiman and Shabackas. Uh, Poiman's on blue side and Shabackas on the red. Uh, this is the tournament in in its events are meant for all seasons, and this is the third games between the teams. This is a team tournament, and Shabacka is the third teammate in the team DSS, while Poiman is from Triple Dose. I believe Triple Dose has already took 5 games so far, whilst DSS only took 1 games. So let's hope for today that Shabackas can pull off some comeback in from that situation. So this tournament is a tournament hosted by me. This is a very strange casual tournament where you form a team of 3 with your friends, and you and your team need to divide the roster from season 3 to season 4 and season 5 into the three players. So you can't have overlap between in your roster and your teammates. So and each player would have 4 season 3 characters and 4 season 4 and 4 season 5, and they need to play each in every game. So we will have 3 games today, and one would be and each player will have a season 3 and season 4 and season 5. So it seems like they have already designed their roster. Shabacka is playing Hazama, is a season 5 character, and Poiman is playing season 3's Dan. I would say Dan is a very weird character. What he does is his critical wild swing has +1 power, +1 speed. That means under normal situations, he doesn't know what he's going to wild swing, but he is committing a gauge for +1 power and +1 speed. While Hasama's, when he initiates an attack, he can also spend a force so that he can play an Ouroboros on a space between at range 1. That means adjacent space. And there are 2 copies of Ouroboros, and one is moved there, and one is not. Choose not to move. Sorry. So basically, he made teleports to the adjacent space when he set an attack when he initiates. So apparently, Shabacka is laughing about the April Fool cutbacks. Yeah, when you're using Angus mod, there are some probabilities, like a rare chance, that you can pull out these kind of jokes cutback. All right. So it seems like we have Hasamas going first. So for Shabackas, I'm not familiar with his playstyle. I don't think I've ever played against him. But he seems like a competent player in the group. While Poiman, I play with him a few times. He likes weird characters like Dan, obviously. He also is one of the few Plants gang, which is a season 2 player characters, Sydney and Serena's. So it will be interesting. Poiman's mulligan 1. Shabacka hasn't decided his mulligan yet, I think. Alright, move 2. I guess both of them are confident with their hand. first action is prep. This is a bit passive on his side. But Hasama's doesn't have a lot of good continuous boost that doesn't initiate a strike. So if he want to play passively, he can. I mean, prep is usually the choice. Not sure why he wants to be that passive though. Alright. Then striking. It's probably the infamous 6-piece Denkuyaku, or Gadoken is a typical move or not move setup. Mix up, sorry. So if Hasama thing is the Denkuyaku, then the answer is probably sweep or focus, or he has some other slow options as well. It will probably trade up against Denkuyaku. But if it's Gadoken, well, there's not much Hasama can do. Maybe assault. Okay, yeah, or cross. So it is the Gadoken, and it miss obviously. But at range 6, both of these two characters don't have options at range 6. Nope. Alright, so Hazama boosts Bloody Fangs, draw 1, and threaten to stun the opponent, while Dance boosts Psycho Leap, which moves himself forwards while charging Gauge. So this boost is very bad in terms of economics, because it uses 2 cards from his hand to move 3 and then gain a Gauge. But then what's special about Dan is he would like to have 0 cards in his hand. So if he has empty hand, he gains certain bonus for some of his ultras. So Hasama here boosts speed, light, plus 2 speed, and this typically threatens a spike or an on-curve spike. But it's not as useful as against others, because then apart from the cross, he also has another copy of Denkuyaku to outspeed the speed 5 spike. Okay, initiate with a wild swing, not great. So it's a normal speed, normal power wild swing. Okay, it's a cross that win the speed tie against the dive, 6-speed dive, which is very, very lucky a wild swing here. It could be way worse, but it diffused the 2 boosts from Hazama, which is good. Here Hazama boosts Check Out My Snake. This is a very strong boost which allows him to draw 3 and then strike, which is a compensation for the bad economy is from Hazama's. So he's striking at range 3. This could be assault or an assault like He's another on curve Hungry Corals. It could also be Fair Falling's Fang. She has so many range 3 setup, range 3 mix up here. It's a good spot for him. Answer with Spike. Unfortunately, this does not beat Falling Fangs because Falling Fangs can push. Falling Fang is very expensive, but is nearly unbeatable at range 3 because it's above curve that can push away sweep, and of course Spike too. So, well, it could be worse for Dan. We have the boost on Hungry Coils. It reduces the force cost by 1, including the force cost that Hazama need to pay for his UA. Oh, it seems like he's taking it back. Right, because on the boost, Hazama may strike, and opponent need to set their attack first. So yeah, he get to decide after then decide to wild swing here. So, ooh, another very good wild swing here. So Hazama will get into range 3 and then land the assaults, and the sweep will strike back. And it's a crit wild swing too. So this would be a 7 power sweep. This is unfortunate. But it's still Hazama still gains advantage. So let's see if he has any follow up here. Both characters are not very good at range 1. Hazama may be a little bit better, but yeah, Dan is definitely not a huge fan of range 1. Okay, so the below curve Koyuken, so it will discard the top card of his deck and gain the powers, depends on the discard card, which he discard as 0 power attacks, which means no damage from Dan's side. That's, well, yeah, that's a misfortune. And discard, and the sweep discard a block from Dan's hand too. This is a very brutal sweep. Then initiate with a crit wild swing here. A crit sweep, a 7 power sweep will not stun the focus here, so it wins the trade though. Oh nice. Sweep, apparently sweep discard the Eternal Coils from Hazama, which is a very powerful ultra from Hazama. So I would say it's pretty good for Poiman. Hazama prep here, reasonable. Both players try to refill their bullets. Hasama boosting Serpent's Redemption, so reduce the force cost by 1 and then move back to range 3. Then initiate with undercurve Gardoken and beaten by the on-curve Assault. Now Hasama's turn, and he chose to exceed. Right, so Hasama has a infamous overdrive exceed abilities. His overdrive, that means at the start of his turn, he'll deal 1 non-lethal damage and then gain 1 life. And he's a season 5 character, so he has 4 overdrive right now, and that means it would deal 4 damage in total across 4 turns, and then heal 4 for himself. That's 8 life deltas. Unavoidable, unless you kill him first. So this is quite a lot of pressure on Dance right now. It seems like reading. Is it a reading and crit? And the reading miss. Not sure what's reading here. Usually at range 1 you read Spike, but it seems like it's not in this case. Answer with Rising Fang, which is pretty reasonable. It's the only thing that only attacks that can hit. And spend the non-normals as force. Yeah. Then Wild Swing a Psycho Haragoshi. This is a typical grasp-like attack, which loses to slow attacks like Rising Fang. And Rising Fangs has 2 armors right now and absorb all the damage. Hasama seems to initiate an attack with his UA, so his UA is a little bit different on Exceed side. He can put down both. Right, so it's Falling Fangs that Q move at range 1. This is a Wild Swing, is it? A Wild Swing Spike? Yes, so when Hasama reveal 4 specials, he can invalidate it and then Wild Swing another gun. And he Wild Swing Phantom Sword, which push Dance out of the spike range. And yeah, that's the game. Hasama that took game 1, which is pretty good. So they are preparing characters for game 2. So it's a little bit unfortunate that we cannot see Dance Ultra in this game when he can't play. He didn't play any of them. Maybe next time I will showcase Dan and Ultra. But here now Poiman cannot pick any characters from season 3, and Shabacka seems to pick Expector Knight, which from season 4. Spectre Knight is a rare character as in competitive scenes. Like few characters would pick him in tournaments. But yeah, this tournament is a few opportunities to showcase these characters. For Spectre Knights, his ability said when when he initiates a strike after setting the attack, he may seal 2 cards from hand face down to gain before advance 2. That makes his attacks weight above curve, but the cost is quite hard. Stealing 2 cards from his hand, he generally has some economy issues with the cards in hands, and he also have some abilities to make use of the face down sealed cards to play them as attack. But yeah, so a pretty interesting design, I'd say. Oh, it seems like we have a mirror match between Spectre Knights now. That would be interesting. So even though it's a mirror match, Spectre Knights plays drastically different. Depends on the playstyle. Some players value his exceed side, while some would prefer not to exceed because he really has a very expensive exceed cost. So Poiman will take king the first. Oh, it seems like we have full mulligans from Shabackas. Interesting. He put it back. Oh, he forgets to shuffle before drawing his hand. Right. I just want to spend some time to complement these unique cutbacks from oh, I forgot his name, from the artist for season 4. It's beautiful. Every character has this unique cutback. Alright, doing the mulligan. So one thing to note about Spectre Knight's ability is his abilities is advanced too, so it could move across the opponent, and sometimes you don't want to because it might make your attacks miss when you move too much from the opponents, which makes him a pretty hard character to pilot. So it seems like we have an EX attack coming from Poiman's, with UA stealing 2 cards from his hand, leaving him only 1 card in his hand after this attack. It could be the above curve cross, which is unbeatable. It could be a focus or sweep that duck under the fast attacks. There's also some unique attacks like Bounding Souls, which is 7 power in this case, breaking sweep. Alright, it is Bounding Souls. 7 power Bounding Souls get blocked. Yes, and there's a unique clause that he only gets the +2 power bonus if he ever uses UA or some other boosts to make himself move. Shabacka discard, spend 2 force to only take 1 damage. He spends Draft Ripper. This is a valuable card for Spectre Knight because of the boost. Take a look at this powerful boost. Okay. Shabacka's boost fierce. Judgment Rush is very expensive, but very powerful instant boost. So Poiman's prep reasonable, recovering from the last strike. Prep from Shabacka's as well. He's pretty comfortable with the fierce. Poiman initiates a strike here. Without an UA, it could be cross. Oh, wow! That wild swing is pretty good for Shabacka's. So Poiman initiate with an undercurve throwing sickles, which got bitten by the what we call a DP, a 7 speed above curve attack spider scythe from wild swing, taking 5 damage from Poiman. This is a pretty bold throwing sickles as well, because it's usually unbeatable at range 3, and when you use it as at range 2, you cannot duck away from the sweep range. So we have Spike boosted from Shabacka, threatening and Dread Talents. Now move 2 after advance 4. So the on-curve assaults from Shabacka here is pretty good because of the defense boost. Okay. So Poiman boosting spider side, draw 3 and then strike with a card from sealed area. He changed his mind. This is one of the 2 cards he sealed earlier, so he knows what this is. But I would still say Shabacka has an advantage here for having the 2 boosts, because the assaults, after the boost on wall climb allowed him to escape after advance 4, going to range 4 if he ever play an assault here. Oh, Spike! Spicy! So Poiman and Spike would win the speed tide and deal 5 damage to Shabacka's. It is very likely a Shabacka does not have assault in his hand. Otherwise, it would be a very reasonable choice for to be defended with, other than Spike. Shabacka's boost cross. Get back to range 1. Poiman has a slight economy advantage here. So initiate with a spin scythe. This is a typical mid speed, beating focus by the after advance 4 here to dodge the focus range, which is really good. Also hit draw a card, so keep putting pressure by keeping up the economy. Shabacka's prep again. So in this mirrors match, economy is key because you want to initiate a strike with your UA. And by using UA, you need more resources. So whenever you prep, you lose the tempo and pass the right to initiate to the opponent. So seems like Poiman is going to strike with UA again, sealing 2 cards from his hand. So his attack would gain before advance 2, so this could be an unbeatable cross, or does it has spike left, or maybe just focus. Throwing sickles, beating the win the speed tie and stun the opponent's throwing sickles. So this is after retreat 1 and gain advantage, so it's still Poiman's turn. It gave him some time to recover from them using the UA. Or keep up the tempos, of course. So Gathering Darkness, again, draw 3 and then strike with a card in sealed area. A very good reloading boost. Reasonable. On curve assaults versus the sweep, defensive sweep. Hitting the Dread Talents here, so this the second and copies of Dread Talents from Poiman's down. Wait, no, sorry, I mixed up. It's a mirrors match. Sorry, I believe this is the first copy only. Right. Yes. Okay, it seems like we have exceed from Poiman's here, paying the very expensive 4 gauge cost. And what it has is when he exceed, he may swap all his card from his sealed area with his deck. So this will exchange with this. Apparently he chose not to, for obvious reasons. But now, when he ever set his attack, not only on offense, he may spend 1 gauge to gain the before advance 2 and also the bonus power. So that's why he exceed with 5 gauge. So he now on defense he can spend, and his gauge he has a 1 gauge to spend for his UA. Now he becomes a monster, defensive monster, because every attacks from him could be above curve. And something like some ultras from him, like Barrier Lanterns, actually requires UAs to make sense. And something like, yeah, never boost Dread Rippers, but it makes all his card better, right? So we have the boost Judgment Rush here. So spending 3 force to gain +2 power +1 speed strike before close 2, and then also spend with his UA, so he gains +3 power in total, and has an option select of before advance 2 and before close 2 with a wild swing. This is pretty scary, but since it's a wild swing, so it could be a very bad options like block. But it seems like Poiman is willing to take the risk here. So let's see what Shabacka is going to respond with. From hand. Ooh. So defend with Spider Scythe. Also need to spend force. So dealing 3 damage to the Wild Swing Sweep. The 9 power the Wild Swing Sweep, if I have not mistaken. So before close 2 and then before advance 2 and then before close 2. I believe this is what he's going to do. Nah, this is not how it works, I believe. Yeah, so Poiman is supposed to be here, but it doesn't matter because it's symmetric. Yeah. So this time a Judgment Rush from Shabacka's side without using UA. So the 6 speed, 6 damage assault beating Spike and take the advantage. Oh, is it deja vu? We have spin scythe from Shabacka's beating focus again. Poiman would hit if he uses UA, but yeah, I guess you can leave it on that when you initiate the strike, when you know what it is. So we have 7 powers as sweep from Poiman's, killing Shabacka's. That's the game. Poiman's took game 2. Feels like the game only ends in that many strike. It feels like Poiman is suddenly it killed Shabacka's with consecutive sweep here, which I would say is the strongest line from Spectre Knights. So we have the third character from Shabacka's. It needs to be a season 3 characters, and Poimans need to pick a season 5 characters. I know he is a very experienced Arakune's player, but he might not play his main in his first round. So he has Lychee versus Gao. Okay, haven't seen this matchup before. So Gao has an interesting abilities. On his front side, he's a very defensive character, so it's a economy abilities. When he uses change card actions, the first gauge he spends generate 2 more force. That means he'll draw 2 more cards. So he could just spend a gauge and then draw 3 cards, which is very defensive. He plays very differently after he exceed though. So let's see if Shabackas would exceed. And Lychee is a very complicated character. He has some shenanigans with her tokens, Mantambo. So with the Mantambos outside of the board, she's currently getting +0 to run range, but -1 and speed. So every attack X is slower, but hit further. So one of the most common line from Lychee is the range 4 sweep opening that hit range 4. Because when you play slow attacks, you don't mind being more slower, right? And then as an action, Lychee can place Mantambos on her space. Sorry. Once per turn as an action, you may place Mantambos in your space or remove it from the arena, then take another action. So it's like a free action to pick her Mantambo up or place it down. So if it's on the board, then Lychee can spend her action to move it, or like if it's on her opponent's space, then she'll gain +1 power and advantage. So a very combo-y abilities. She can place her Mantambos down and then pick her up and keep gaining advantage. A very aggressive character. So it's Poiman mulligan 4 here. So Lychee's first action is prep. For Gao. Gao first action is prep. And Lychee initiate with a strike. It could be a range 4 assault or just sweep. And Gao will respond with dive, trading 5 to 6. Given Gao prep at turn 1, it's not really a huge loss for him. Losing a spike though, maybe a bit of the problem. But it's not like a spike is Gao's only mid-speed. He's the mid-speed man. Mid-speed, 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 and then above curve defensive option. Alright, so Gao's put on his shades of glory. This gives him a +2 guard and a free critical for his attacks, and this boost will stay as long as he didn't get stunned. Lychee decided to put down her Mantambo. That means her attacks would lose the bonus from range, but also the penalty from speed. It's reasonable given they are a range run right now. So initiate a strike here. So a reach from Lychee. So it's a very complicated attack, but currently it's a 6 power attacks that allow her to place a Mantambos on opponent's space, but responding with a focus from Gao. which is reasonable to keep his shades not discarded. And now it's a bit more dangerous for Gauss to stay here because the Mentambos is under his space, and Lychee can remove it to get +1 power and advantage, which is more likely to break the guard of Gao and then discarding the shade. We have the boost Laojiu. I believe is Lychee's pet panda, which allow her to seal his attacks and then draw his hand up to back to 5 and then strike. A very good reload attack. Sealing Renchan though. So at range 1 here, alright, we have Flash Kick beating Lychee's focus. Wait, no, at range 1, no, he does not escape the Gao cannot escape the range of focus, but at least Lychee cannot pop the Mentambos because Gao move away from the space from Mentambo. Flash Kicks also has the guard to keep the Chase alive, so I would say not bad for Gao. Flash Kick actually trades up against Focus there because it was critical for free. Another critical attacks from Gao, responding with Spike. Oh, this is a typical cross play. So yeah, finally they decide to play attack to discard the Flash Kick. Lychee doesn't have a lot of options at range, while Gao has a pretty far range attacks. Iconic Sonic Boom. Okay, so we Gao's exceed here. So what's difference is after using his abilities, he could decide to strike. So he can actually gain a bunch of cards into his hand and then strike. And for the exceed rule, he doesn't need to discard up to his hand size after striking. That leaves him a big hand. That's why we often joke about Gao's as big hand Gao. So he becomes a very aggressive character if you want to, because he can keep up striking with a lot of options in hand. And it seems like Lychee wants to move Mentambo, but it's pretty slow for her, because Gao is currently threatening the Sonic Booms, which is a free hit for Gao. So Lychee needs to do something here, and she decided to prep. So Gao is using his UA, spending one force from Gauge and drawing 3 cards. And then he can decide whether to strike or to end his turn and draw 1 and then discard half hand size. Striking here. This could be a Sonic Boom. Oh, it's a block. Yeah, baiting the dive from Lychee here, baiting the answers. Or with 16 cards in his deck, it could be just Gao doesn't even have it in his hand. But eventually he will draw it. So Lychee will need to do something here. So Lychee boosting Spike. And Gao will initiate with a UA strike here. So it's not a crit. So yep. So Lychee will dive and duck into the minimal range, beyond the minimum range of Sonic Booms here. Yep, so Gao doesn't get stunned, so he would still need to move. So Lychee spend an action to threaten with the Mantambo here. Without a shade Mantambo with Mantambos at range 1, it could be at range 1 7 power reach. It seems like a Gao is going to defuse with a preemptive cross, which is X speed. So it's not something in Lychee can answer to, even though she saw it coming. So a nice getaway from Gao. Lychee move her Mantambo, threatening with attacks like 4 Wind. Okay. Gao boosts row close to, and then if he's not at range 1, that he would take another actions. So move to range 2 and then decide to use his UA and strike. Range 2 is a preferred range for Gao. Ooh, spicy. Playing an on-curve double sweep kick, losing to an arm lunge, which is pretty sad. Gao still gains the advantage though, and he'll use his UA. And it's 9 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Like 10 cards in his hands casually. A spike, cross. Oh, the The cross can hit, but cannot stun the spike. So spike will trade up. Lychee boosting free dragon, which she now draw one, and if she want to, she can spend force to easily break the guard on any attacks if she is willing to spend force. And given she has 6 gauge right now, she could afford that. So that's a threat of an on curve 7 power assault, or sorry, six powers cross. Her unarmed lunge is also alive, the threat, when Gao is between the Mantambo and Lychee. So Gao is playing his second copy of Preemptive Strike, plus 2 speed now strike. He better stun and Lychee's here. Oh, and it's a crit. So telegraphing a specials. Another spinning back knuckle. 6 speed 7 power. Or it might be a cheeky reverse spin kick. It's still 5 speed though. So that's a mix up here. Flash kick is also a very good option. So responding with EX. Ooh. It's a dive versus a EX assault. So dive would hit first. Not killing Poiman though. Not killing Lychee's though. But it will stun and Lychee's. So it's a very cheeky dive. So the last critical was a bluff. So Lychee spent an action to took back her Mantambo. But this leaves her a very strange spot because now her attacks has -1 speed, and she doesn't even benefits from the +0 to run range. Not sure what's Lychee's plan here. At 1 health, she needs to not get hit by Gao. It's not like Gao has fast options here though. If I remember correctly, both grasp from Gao is alive. Oh, it seems like she decided to put that back. Is that here? Yeah, I think so. I don't really remember. Might be here. yeah, that's how she ducked. Maybe I'm wrong, but so Lychee decides to exceed. So when she exceed, she doesn't have a kicker. But when she said an attack if Mentembos is on her space gate +1 speed, it doesn't really even matters. But her overdrive allowed her to move into Mentembo space, which is moving to range 5. Or teleports the Mentembos to any space. Now she gets +1 speed because she just teleports a Mentembos onto her space. But Gao has a defensive boost for +2 speed, so Gao is still okay. She changed her mind again. So now Lychee is threatening with the +1 power advantage here. And Lychee's boost cross to escape the corner. It leaves Gao's a +2 speed at range 3. But I think both spike from Gao's was down, so maybe that's reasonable. But having both cross down from Lychee is maybe a problem, maybe an issue. Okay, boost reading. Reading grass, reading successful. Into assaults, killing Poiman. That's the game. Shabacka's took game 3 as Gao. It's not even close. So, alright. Right, Lychee has at range 3 is threatening all green. So if there isn't a reading, then the all green would hit. But it seems like Shabacka's took 2 games today as Gao and as Hazama. And Poiman took 1 game as Spectre Knight. So what have we learned today? Spectre Knights always win. Thanks for the watching, and I think that's it. Bye bye.